Hello, Jeff. How are
How
you?
are you? I'm very well.
I'm
Um,
good.
you have a good connection and good sun. I'm not going to officially start till right at 10 o'clock. Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
No, let's see my face.
That's what?
Yes, okay. We're
That's what.
waiting for everybody.
Okay, so it's 10 o'clock now. Let's start by introduce yourself for us, please.
Okay, so I am Marie Pascaud. I'm a French winemaker, and I also the part of the family who own the Chateau de Pampelonne. So Chateau de Pampelonne, it's a winery in south of France. We are in Côte de Provence, AOP Côte de Provence. We've got 50 hectares, just right on the beach, and the famous beach called Pampelonne Beach, and in Saint-Tropez. And what else? Um,
Will you tell
yeah,
me story in wine? Like your family, I assume you grew up in the chateau, but what is your journey like? Education, and did you work at other wineries?
okay. So I started to study the wine growing first in Mâcon in the Burgundy. And then I went to do enologist degree in Montpellier. And after that, I did a master of commercialization, wine commercialization. And then I left France for like almost 11 years. I went to work in different wineries in South Hemisphere and to do a lot of vintage. And I went back every year to do the vintage in the Chateau de Pampelonne. And I did that for 11 years. I took over, and, and now and now since this year we were before that we were bottling and selling by
Show us again where we are. That's such a beautiful view. I'm gonna ask you a few times to show us the background because it's so gorgeous.
okay, let's see that. I will show you that. So
Wow.
this is Pampelonne Beach, the famous one. Really quiet for this time of the year.
I bet.
It used to be just a lot more busier, but it will come.
Yeah. Now, what vines are we looking at right there?
So here we are in the vines. We've got a cuvée called Légende. This cuvée is made with really old vines, like 100, more than 100 years old. And
Uh-huh.
this one are part of it. They are from Cinsault grape. So they are 106 years old.
Whoa,
So
that's
all this block is made with that.
and now that Legende, I have that in my restaurant.
Yes.
What's the bottle shape called? Because it's such a beautiful bottle.
So we changed it for this year, sadly. We had to change it because we couldn't put it on the bottling machine anymore. So sadly, the shape changed. And now we are with a normal burgundy bottle.
Oh, okay. But you guys do such a nice job of packaging. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I hope you will like it.
So,
I forgot to take some.
that's okay. Marie, can you tell us about the chateau historically and a little bit about how Rosé and Provence has?
Yes, of course. So regarding our property, the chateau is has been built as it is now in 1860 by a person of my family who got married with a girl from Saint-Tropez, and they had this land as a as a gift for their wedding,
Wow.
and not bad gifts.
Yeah.
And so they started to plant first there was eucalyptus
Oh,
gum tree, and then the vines they started to plant it end of probably around 1890
okay.
they started to plant vines, but just a small amount, and it got bigger and bigger from 1930 until now. And now we've got 50 hectares.
Wow. And how did it fare with phylloxera? Are you sandy
Uh,
enough? Bad?
yeah, but I want to try. But at the moment, we've got how you call that? It porte-greffe. Uh, something you've got the vines and something you put on it to protect against the phylloxera, but I
Oh,
don't remember the name.
okay.
And but I will probably try to plant them straight on the sand, because here our soil, even here, you see, the
Mhm.
soil is, you've got a bit of rocks, but it's also 100% sand. It's everywhere. We've got sand because of the we are so close to the beach that we've got sandy soil. So
Crazy.
we are supposed not to have phylloxera, but it's a big challenge to try not to plant to plant vines straight,
Yeah.
and we are a bit worried, but we will try for sure. We
So
will try.
so how did Provence become such the phenomenon that it is right now?
Uh, I think the luck we've got is rosé is we always been making rosé wine for a long, long time, and we were probably the only region where we were making so much rosé back
Hmm.
like 30 years. When I started my study in Macon, they were all laughing at me because I was making rosé wine, and that
Hmm.
was the barbecue wine. That was not a wine, and then we saw step by step people drinking rosé, probably because it's easy to drink. We don't need to get a lot of acknowledge about the wine to drink rosé.
Hmm.
So I think that makes um, a good wine for people who, at the beginning, who didn't really know about wines, and then it started to be a bit more professional. And I think people realized that in Provence we had a certain acknowledge about this specific wine.
Hmm.
And I think today in Provence we've got a lot of really, really good rosé wine.
Yeah. So what do you do? And
Humble.
you at some point turn the camera around, whatever makes you
Yes,
comfortable. That's fine.
I'm
Um,
here.
what do you do in? Well, explain how rosé wine is made first of all.
So here at the Chateau de Pampelonne now we do like what we do is we harvest half by hand, half by machine, and then we're gonna pick up at night, and machine we pick up at night because it keeps the grapes cooler, and that's way we protect the skin to get in contact with the juice too soon, because the heat helps the skin to be more fragile
Uh-huh.
and to get the juice out too soon. So that's why we do the harvest at night. Then we're gonna just put them in the press. Usually we leave them for an hour or two maximum to do a quick maceration. And then we're gonna press the juice, and we do what we call a racking. So we took the lid out and we keep just the clean juice, and we make it fermenting, and then we just leave the fermentation in just cool temperature around 12 to 15, and after 3 weeks the fermentation is over. We here in Chateau de Pamplonne we don't do the what we call the fermentation, the second fermentation, the malolactic fermentation. So
Right.
we don't
Okay.
do that. We just do the first one to keep the acidity and the freshness of the wine, and then we keep it on light lees for like 4 months, and then we can bottle it.
So, what's the difference between a good rosé from Provence and an everyday rosé from Provence? Like, what do you do differently? Because your wine is delicious, and I get it every year for the restaurant. What what makes it quality rosé?
I think the main thing is also the terroir.
Okay.
And because here in Chateau de Pamplonne, we've got such a specific terroir. As you can see, the influence of the sea is really 100% responsible of a really different climate than like 1 kilometer away,
Oh,
because we are like in a circus, you see, that makes a circus
oh,
on the sea,
like an
and that protect us a lot from the rain or the cool, really cool climate we can get in winter. We've got kind of a really warm climate here, but
yeah.
it's a kind of a microclimate, really. And also our soil, because the sands like this, it's really, really specific. So, and probably also the work we are making all along the year. We now we are not using any more herbicide.
Okay.
Yes, and so I think we are working more on a environmental way, which gives also our grapes more character or more typicity.
Yeah, it's really. I'm glad you said that because the people forget that terroir. It's not just the soil; it's the wind and the geology, the geography, how close you are to the sea. It's all, and then I think the winemaker included in there too a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, of course, that's true. Yes,
So
because we have all our specificities. We work, everybody's working on his way, and so
yeah.
it's good. It makes it different.
So can you tell me what grapes you grow that go in the wine, and then how do you what like does Carignan do better in a certain plot and the Senso in a different plot? How do you decide that? But tell us all the grapes first.
Okay, so the main grapes we've got is Grenache and then Cinsault. That's the two main grapes.
Okay.
Then we've got Syrah. We use the Syrah and the Grenache for the reds.
Oh,
All the other one, we use them for rosé. So we use for rosé Grenache, Cinsault, and Syrah also. We use Tibourin. We use Tibourin. It's a specific grapes from the area. It's I would say in between the Grenache and the Cinsault.
okay.
And then we've got the Mourvèdre, a bit of Mourvèdre, but I think Mourvèdre is better in Bandol for sure.
Okay.
But we still have some really old Mourvèdre, and we've got Carignan. For the red grapes, that's it. And then we've got for the white wine, we use Uni Blanc and Roll. Roll is the same as Vermentino.
Okay. And how do you decide when you? I mean, this is decades ago when you planted this, but what grows best where? How do you decide where to put the Syrah and where to put the?
Here we've got big things we are careful with. It's the humidity. And for example, Grenache and Carignan, they are really, really sensitive to the humidity. So, for example, on these hills, if I had to one day, but not yet, if I had to plant something, I would plant more Grenache, for example,
Okay.
because it's more windy, there is less humidity. At the bottom, I will plant more like Cinsault, because the soil are a bit drier, and Cinsault is a really strong grape. It grows pretty much everywhere, not everywhere, but it's never, you've got never a problem of disease or anything on it.
Oh.
It's a really easy plant.
So you mentioned that you make a white and a red. People are generally not so familiar with that. And my friend Nicole Grape Chic on here loves red from Provence. So can you tell us about your red and white and what they are comprised of? Well, you said what they're comprised of, but what they taste like.
Yes. So our red, it's made with 50% of Syrah, 50% of Grenache. On it, you will find pretty much every year, because of the maceration probably, you will find a salty touch from the sea,
Okay.
because the salt keeps on the skin, and because of the maceration, usually it remains on it.
Mm-hmm.
And also we've got a lot of aromas of cherry, really dark cherry, the seeds of the cherry.
Okay.
So it's really dark berries fruit. It's quite fruity, but you've got good tannins too.
Mm-hmm.
So the wine in Provence and in Chateau de Pampelonne, they are the red wine. They are quite strong wine, because we've got the sun, so it's really easy to get a good ripeness. So that gives really interesting reds
Yeah.
with a good complexity. And so this year we decided, because I started to bottle and sell my wine, I had to sell this year 2019 red. So we just pick up a small blend we made to be able to be drinking in now, and the rest we're gonna probably age it a bit on wood and in tank, a bit of both, to give him more roundness.
My friends Lorenzo in Italy and Joe Campanelli in Brooklyn just got on. Can you show them your vineyard again? We'll pop
Yes, no problem.
so
Here it
close.
is.
Oh, and Regal is
Wow.
in Regal's in a staff meeting, but somebody is cheating and sneaking on here to watch you. So, now,
You are welcome.
what do you eat with the red and the red, white, and rosé? What's the kind of food in Provence, and how do you pair wines down there?
I would say for us, rosé is more like the wine we drink with pretty much every food. The good thing with rosé, it's like a snake, you know. It goes pretty much with a lot of things because it's subtle, so it it's not gonna change the taste of the food too much.
Yeah.
But mainly we drink it with with all the Provençal food. For example, with the bouillabaisse, with the fish, the sushi also. We eat it with sushi. We eat it with salads, with barbecues. We drink it, sorry. And for the red, it's more going with meat. We do in Provence we do daube, like the meat, the beef meat or the white
Mm-hmm.
pig meat, which is macerating in red wines. And usually we cook the daube with the wine we will drink on the table. So
Okay.
usually it's the wine from the winery, and yes.
So I had a daube in Chateau du Pape last year, and oh god, this year. But it is a Provence dish. Do you
Yes.
get the influence in Provence and the
The
herbs you
what?
have in the garrigue herbs? Do they grow up?
Yeah, they grow up in usually here you can find thyme, you can find rosemary, you can find a lot of also herbs from the garrigue.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I kind of think anything that you can put rosemary and thyme on is going to go with the reds particularly. I actually
Yes.
like Americans in general are eating more vegetables, and I think rosé is always a really easy pairing with a salad or with even roasted vegetables. I think it's good.
Yes.
How much Tiburon do you have? Because that's something people are starting to be aware of.
Yeah, Tiburon, we don't have much left. We have like 2 hectares at the moment. It's a really difficult grape to grow. So and it's not that interesting. It's really light, and as we are trying to go on a more complex, more gastronomic wines, it's not really the good grape to grow. It's
Okay,
specific
so
from the area, but I think it's more dilute. It's more dilute. So
uh-huh.
yes,
Okay,
we are
so
we are keeping
you
it.
mentioned well, it's interesting for the variety too, just to have a little variety. You mentioned the cooperative. Can you explain how cooperative works and what that means that you're doing your own now?
That was a cooperative. We were making our wines in the winery, and then we were bottling them at the cooperative, and they were selling it. So from this year, from the 2019 vintage, we are bottling it at the winery, and we are selling it on our own. I said we. At the moment, it's my husband and I. The teamwork, family work.
But so it was always just your estate fruit.
Yes, yes.
It's just your
Hop. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Because we were making our wines here in the cellar at the winery. So that was really really well made and really well watching.
um I have a question that I can't remember what I was going to ask. So Pampelonne Beach, is that where 55 is?
Yes, Club 55 is just that way, just there
And
at the
that's
back.
Bridget Bardot used to hang out, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But
It's a 5 kilometers long beach,
okay.
and it makes like a kind of a bay. We can see one bottom of the bay here,
Uh-huh.
and the other bottom is just behind this hill. And yes, it's where all the beach restaurants are. It's where a lot of party goes on at this in the summer. Usually, at the moment, it's really, really quiet, but it
So
will come back.
oh, I'm gonna put a picture up of your house because I saw that on Instagram and I was
Yeah,
blown away by that. And Eva and I were talking. We want to stay in the spare room. I hope
ah,
it.
you're welcome. My dad and my sister live there, but you are welcome.
It's such a beautiful place. And is
Yeah.
behind. So I'm looking at the front right now. Behind that is the vineyard and then the ocean.
In fact, it's on the side.
The
On
other.
the
Oh,
when you watch the picture, it's on the left side.
okay. And
Yes.
then what is Provence like to live there? Is it difficult to drive around in season, or you live close enough to work that it's not a big deal?
I would say it's not easy to drive for sure, but we've got a quality life, which is like, I think we are really lucky
Hmm.
because even if you've got a lot of people in summer, that's great because we live also from them. They are customers and they are people who makes us be able to live here all year round. So it's really good. And it's nice also because in winter it's more quiet. We can enjoy picnic on the beach with friends and and also working in the vineyards in a place like this. You know, when you are in winter and you've got this view
Yeah.
and so it makes things really easier.
Yeah.
When we are pruning and the sun is there and we are in the t-shirts and with the beach in front of us, we cannot really complain.
Yeah, really. So
Yeah.
many artists, like famous artists, have come down there. They say it's because of the light. Uh, is that just because you're by the ocean, or why is the light so special there?
I think the light is special mainly at this time of the year until June. July and August, it's really warm. So usually it's a bit less blue and white and red and green, sorry. But what makes this also, it's the wind because we've got always this air, kind of a mistral, but mistral is the wind, is really a wind. We can be really strong but also would just keep the all the clouds away in the sky. And
Okay.
when you've got this all the green from the vegetation and the blue from the sea, it makes just as you can see today, it makes just beautiful color.
Yeah. So what does being so close to the sea have to do with the taste? Like, how does it affect the plant? But how does it affect the taste of the wine?
In fact, the salt when it's windy and the wind comes from the sea, we had like 3 days now, 3 days in a row with wind from the sea, and it makes like really thin particles of salt on the grapes, and it remains on the grapes also, and also on the leaf. So when we harvest, we always got this salty influence. But it's not only that, it's also in the soil. In the soil, if you dig the soil, you will find at 1 meter 50, no more, you will find salt also.
Wow.
So that's why we have to be really careful when we grow our vines, because usually we say the roots has to go really down, but here we are careful because we don't want our roots to go too down, because if they go like further than the salt, uh, that will make the plant die straight away.
So the roots don't go below 1.5 meters, or they?
We try to not make them go too low. Yeah,
Oh,
if
wow.
a small amount goes, it's okay, but like when we had 3 or 4 years of dryness in a row, it was in 2015, the end, we had an hectare who just died in a day. It
Wow.
was unbelievable. And in fact, what happened is because of the dryness, the salt went up and it kills all the vines that was really old Tibourin, and they died in one day. I lost 1 hectare.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What is happening in the vines right now? Do you have flowering?
Alors, yeah, I was trying to find, but at the moment here we are more like this. You see, so we are really close to the flower,
Okay.
really close,
Okay.
but not yet. We found some flowers in Grenache a bit further,
Oh,
but it will begin. The flower season will begin now.
and then what is the work being done in the vineyard? Ombrage?
At the moment, yeah, we are doing we call it in Provence ébourgeonnage.
Okay.
So we do that, and also we take the grass out. I don't know if you would say that by
Tilling
hand.
grass and
Yes,
was pulling the suckers off, right? Or the
exactly. And also we start to spray. We start to spray like 2 weeks ago,
okay.
because now it's the beginning of the disease problem,
Yeah.
disease season.
Yeah.
And what we do, we take care of the trellising. Like we're gonna put up when we've got some blocks, they are on trellising. The really old vines, we call that gobelet,
Uh-huh.
which is pruning, which is making like an ant like this.
Uh-huh.
And these ones we are not putting any trellising on it. And the younger vines, they are on a trellising system.
So this is kind of like in Chateau du Pape. You do the gobelet.
Yeah, exactly. We used to do the gobelet because that was for back to the old time. That was the best way to protect the vines from the sun.
Oh,
Uh, Sorry.
I thought it was wind.
And also the wind, but also mainly the sun, because we've
That's,
got a lot of burns from the sun, and the bush like this
uh-huh.
helps from the wind, of course, but also from the sun, because it didn't burn the grapes.
That's super cool. So, how is life in Provence under the coronavirus? And I know you just started opening back up on Monday.
Yeah, our shops can open now from Monday, but restaurants, they probably will be able to open the 2nd of June. That's what everybody's saying at the moment.
Uh-huh.
And beaches, because we are not allowed to go on the beach at the moment, not even for a walk. They might be able to open them like end of this week or end of next week.
Yeah, I didn't
But
realize it was. You really can't even go for a walk without.
no, no, we are not allowed. All the beaches are closed.
Wow. I hope they do open that a little bit soon and everybody.
Yeah. And also here in the region, we are really lucky because we didn't had a lot of issue with coronavirus. I
Mhm.
mean, not a lot of cases. So
That's
for us, it's even more difficult because we don't really realize that it's such a big issue, and we cannot enjoy just a walk on the. We are lucky; we've got all the vineyards to walk in, but for people around, it's more difficult to be
now
in the house.
one thing that people don't think about is happening is that because the restaurants are not buying the wine, wineries are starting to bottle and not have space. Are you running out of space for the wine right now? Or that's not.
I am lucky at the moment. We have quite we have sell enough wine to be not worried about the space. So we do bottling step by step because we don't want to bottle too many bottles in case things are not going very well.
Mhm.
But for the moment, if we are able to open shops the 2nd of June, if we can start kind of season, even if it's not a normal one. If we can start in beginning of July, it will be, I think we would be okay. Of course, we won't. We will. We say in France, we will sauver les meubles. We will save our furnitures,
Yeah.
but no more, no
Yeah.
more. So I think we are not really thinking about the worst because we want to go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
to
exactly.
keep going.
Well, we're right at a half an hour, Marie, and I try to keep them right at around.
Yeah.
So, it's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to coming.
Yes. Same. Hopefully one day you will come here, or I will go and visit in US.
I hope both actually, because I'd love
Yeah.
to be here and show you.
Exactly.
Do you want to say anything before we go?
Just keep drinking rosé from Provence.
One last view of the vineyard, if you don't mind.
Yes. Okay. Up.
Uh, I did this project because it's very optimistic to see the vines and also to get a view and get out of the house, if just for a half an hour, and to meet some lovely people too. It's been a true pleasure.
It's really good idea. Yes, same for me.
It's been a
I
pleasure,
wish you all the best.
and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Okay, thank
Bye,
you.
Jeff. Thank you. Bye.